All right, it's 8:01. We're going to give, got a few more trying to log in here. We're very, very grateful for each of you coming on today. I am not John Spillman, as you can tell, and he is on vacation this week, so I'm pinch hitting for him as I sent you a email to ask you to join us to look at how can we pump up our membership. And we have a special guest with us today that will help us look at what we shared with our folks at the Zone Institute this past weekend was one of the key ways to be intentional about your membership. And she's going to share some information with us this morning. And that happens to be Sandy Olson. Sandy is in District 7770 in the eastern part of South Carolina. And she is the incoming district membership chair for that district. And she is she's one of these rare Rotarians who has taken the membership element in a very serious way and been willing to share her talent, her skills to make a difference in their district. They are the leading district in Zone 33 on membership growth this year. And one of the key components that they've used is what we call Discover Rotary. And we're going to be talking about that this morning. And Sandy's going to give you sort of a quick, brief overview of that. And then we want to allow some time for questions. So if you will, welcome, Sandy. We're so glad to have you with us, and I think you have share screen capability already, so I'm going to let you take it over. Sandy Olson, we're so glad to have you with us this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Let's get the screen up here, and we'll go to slideshow mode here. And from the beginning, I'm hoping everyone can see that. And so we'll jump right into this. First of all, thank you, Charles, and thanks to all in District 7690 for allowing me to be with you on this Tuesday morning. Wish you a good morning. And Charles is right, we had a wonderful Zone 33 Institute and learned a lot of things, but confirmed one thing. And that is that no matter what you do in terms of membership growth, it needs to become intentional. So that's what we're initially going to start with, is how to go from a strategy of hope, which does not work, and we've learned that. Hope is a good thing, is okay, but hope does not work when it comes to having a strategy for growing your clubs. And I see that you are somewhere in the neighborhood of 47 to 49 clubs with 2,473 members strong in the Piedmont of North Carolina. What a delight to be with you this morning. Well, you may know that our theme, Jennifer Jones, Rotary International President for 2022-23, has Imagine Rotary. And so I'm borrowing from that this morning to challenge you with imagine. Imagine your district having not 86 new members, that's how much you've grown by thus far this year. What if next year, imagine if you grew by 96 members or 100 members. I believe you would outstrip 7770. So let's talk about how we're going to make that happen. It's called Get Intentional, Intentional Growth Strategies. I have found, working with clubs, really in the zone from Pennsylvania down to South Carolina, that the clubs who adopt intentional growth strategies and do these 5 things that you see on the screen are the most successful and the most intentional when it comes to membership growth. This is the strong foundation that I preach from one end of our zone to the other. And it's 5 things. It's having a strategy, having a team in place, having a strong plan, working on your growth culture, probably the most important element of the 5, and then, and only then, discover Rotary. Because I've learned that those clubs that try to do Discover Rotary in a vacuum, so to speak, as a standalone strategy are not as successful in growing membership as the clubs who have this 5-element intentional growth strategy in place. So let's talk about that a little bit more. What do we mean by a strategy? I'm talking about simply a written statement that says what your club's strategy is. At Forest Acres, my club in Columbia, South Carolina, ours is very simple. Our club is committed to growing membership consistently and moderately every year by 5% of our club members. Just that simple. So come up with a written, agreed upon strategy. When you have that in place, you go from hope to intentional strategy, and make sure you put that strategy in your membership plan. What's next? A strong membership team. Now, I've had a lot of clubs say, Sandy, our membership chair is a membership chair in name only. That's not uncommon. We had that at our club for almost 20, 30 years. It was the same person, and basically all he did was just shuffle membership applications. There's a lot more to it than that. So if you've got a membership chair like that, make sure you surround that person with spark plugs and people who can ignite the passion for membership growth in your club. Some other people on the team might include someone who's going to focus on member engagement. You need a strong new member mentor program and someone who will take that on. A strong new member orientation person, maybe someone who will be responsible for overseeing the club meeting greeter program. That's very important. You have a prospective member visiting your club, you want to roll out a red carpet for them. And it makes sense to have that person on your membership team because then they have the passion for what they're doing. And then, of course, someone who will be responsible for Discover Rotary. Now, you might be, I've had clubs say, Sandy, we don't have that many people in our club. And so if that's the case with your club, then guess what? Everybody in your club needs to be your membership team. And that needs to be your #1 focus for 2022-23. So we got the team in place. Let's write a plan. A membership plan, the most important aspect, I think, is the membership goal worksheet. Work that into your plan because you have to know where you've been, where you're at now, and where you're headed. And this membership goal worksheet will tell you that story, and it will help you set your membership goal. You need to cover attrition. How many people do you generally lose every year? And then if you want to be net +2 or net +3, you add that to the number of people who leave your club. In our case at Forest Acres, we lose an average of 8. Our attrition is very high. And so we have to cover the 8. And then in order to grow by 2 or 3, we have to add that on top of that. So then we're looking at least attracting 11 new members every club year. So here are some things that also need to be in your plan. What you're going to do to attract members, how you're going to slam that back door and keep your members engaged, how you're going to onboard new members. And so just some ideas for what needs to be in your membership plan. Then the most important element of all 5, if you don't do anything else, do this. Work hard at building a strong growth culture in your club. Charles and I were talking about that before the meeting started this morning about how important that is. And you know, 99% of it is inspiring your club members to reach out and ask. Reach out and ask someone to come to a Discover Rotary event or come to a club meeting. Inspiration. Now, you see in the middle of this slide, I talk about the kudzu of complacency, and that's exactly what I call it. It's like kudzu. And I don't know if you have any kudzu up there in the Piedmont of North Carolina, but we sure have some down here in South Carolina. And I think some of it took root in some of our Rotary clubs, because we have been battling the kudzu of complacency. It can sprawl all over a club and choke out energy, excitement, creativity. So don't let that take root in your club. How do you get rid of it if it's there? What I call the 3 E's: energy, enthusiasm, and excitement. Now, some people have told me, Sandy, that's not me. That's not naturally my personality. Well, if you're a membership chair or you're a club president or president-elect, you better go find the fountain of energy, enthusiasm, and excitement and take a big drink, because you're going to need that. I've also learned something else, that when in growing membership in a club, you know what we're really doing? What we're really doing is leading change. And that means asking people to step out of their comfort zone. And that's hard to do. And sometimes we run into resistance. So I would love to, I could spend the entire day today talking about developing a strong growth culture. I'd love to come back to your district or to your clubs and spend more time on growth culture. Very, very important. The 5th one in my 5 strategies, and it's 5th for a reason, it's last for a reason: discover Rotary. Because you see, discover Rotary is like the icing on the cake, but you must first bake the cake. And that's why it's so important to get those first 4 elements in place before you even try a Discover Rotary. What is Discover Rotary? It is a 1-hour informational meeting that you conduct for prospective members who are interested in learning more about Rotary. It is a great way to introduce someone to Rotary, because it gives so much more information about Rotary than they would get if they simply attended a Rotary Club meeting. Because 90% of the time at a club meeting is a speaker who's not talking about Rotary at all. So Discover Rotary really works. It's huge return on investment. It's a great way to introduce prospective people to Rotary. So there's a recipe for success in doing a Discover Rotary. You need to plan ahead, make sure you want to orchestrate this event so that it's successful for you. So plan ahead, realize that it's a business meeting, not a social, treat it that way. Members of the club need to understand that they are responsible for inviting prospective members to Discover Rotary. That's not up to the membership team. That's not up to the president or president-elect. It's the club membership takes responsibility. Then you want to tap that prospective member 3 times. They get the invitation from a potential sponsor. So that's number 1. Then the membership team or the person who's doing Discover Rotary follows up with an email or a phone call that says, we are really delighted that you're going to be with us for Discover Rotary on June the 12th. We're delighted that you're going to be there and looking forward to it. And then tap number 3, the week of or the night before or the morning of, another email that says, just a reminder, we're looking forward to seeing you at Discover Rotary. So it's following up and it's letting that prospective member know that you expect them to be there, that it's not a no-show for them. Okay, when do we do Discover Rotary? At Forest Acres, we're a lunch club. So we do it at 11:30 in the morning, right before our club meeting. We do it right at the church where we meet, so that when the Discover Rotary hour is over with, we invite them into our club meeting so that they can experience what a meeting is like and meet some good Rotarians. If you're a breakfast club or an evening club, you can take a look at when it would work best. Some people do right after the breakfast meeting. Some people do right before the evening club meeting. It's whatever works best for your club. Day of the event. This is an important event. You're well planned, you're well set up, so you want to have a successful Discover Rotary. Make sure you have a sign-in sheet so you can capture people who may attend that a sponsor has invited but hasn't had a chance to let you know about. So sign-in sheet, have the name. If you know who's coming, have the name tags ready to go. Have your PowerPoint and your script ready to go. Mine is on the Zone 33 website, easy to find. I have a couple of club members who participate so that I can present to the prospect someone who's kind of long in the tooth, who's been a Rotarian for several years, and give that perspective. Then I also have a very new Rotarian who can really identify with that prospective club member and give their experience as well. Introductions, 30 seconds only. We don't need somebody to tell their life story. That's not it at all. Then we go into the Rotary story, which is the story we really want to hear. And we talk about Rotary, what it is and what it does and how it can make a difference in people's lives. I always provide a little collateral. Sometimes I'll give them our club brochure. I give them a copy of the Rotarian magazine, just whatever I happen to have on hand. Then we wrap up with questions and discussion, and then follow up. That's very important. You want that prospective member. You're not asking them to make a decision on the spot. What we're doing is opening the Rotary world to them. But you want to follow up because eventually you want to hear, yes, I want to join your club. Or perhaps you might hear, I'm not sure, not right now. And that's a perfectly good answer because they have not told you no. They simply are saying it's not good now. Let me think about it. And that's where you keep them in the database. You put them into the customer relations module and you go back to them from time to time and stay connected. Eventually they will join. Okay, I'm going to, and Charles, flag me down when I'm done. I'm going to quickly romp, and when I say romp, I mean romp through my Discover Rotary presentation that I do for the Forest Acres Club, just to give you a taste of what it's all about. We start off with what is Rotary? A lot of people will come to you and say, I've heard about Rotary, what is it? So this gives you an opportunity to say that we are an international membership organization that does good around the world. We are in the business of changing people's lives for the better. There are 1.2 million of us and 35,000 clubs in over 200 countries around the world. And our motto is service above self. We talk about the vision statement and how important that vision statement is in guiding what we do in Rotary around the world. And the fact that Rotarians invest more than $200 million and 16 million volunteer hours every year. It's a great way to give back. Basically, we are people of action. We educate, we advocate, we provide services, we work at eradicating polio. We do a variety of things. Neighbors, friends, and problem solvers. We share ideas to take action to create lasting change in the world. Talk a little bit about the history and how Paul Harris started Rotary with 3 friends in Chicago in 1905. Sometimes we do things in Rotary and it confuses people. If you are visiting a Rotary club for the first time and you see a group of people stand up and recite the 4-way test, you might wonder, what in the world are these people doing and what is this? Okay, Discover Rotary gives you a chance to explain that along with our core values before a person ever experiences it in a meeting. So when they go into your meeting and they see these people stand up and recite the 4-way test, they will understand what it's all about. No longer a mystery to them. I like that. Discover Rotary takes a lot of the mystery out of what Rotary is for people. Then we talk a little bit about the object of Rotary, what it is and how it influences our lives in the way, in our personal relationships and in our business relationships, and how we conduct our business around the world. But more importantly, the object of Rotary comes to life through the 5 avenues of service in a deeply rooted membership organization: club service, vocational, international, youth, and community service. Then we touch a little bit on the 7 areas of focus and how Rotarians have been working in these areas for many, many years, changing lives, making a difference in people's lives. Then we go into a little bit of information on our foundation, some of the things that we've done, and the fact that we've spent now more than $4 billion on life-changing projects around the world. Our Polio Plus program, give a little history, how it got started, when the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation joined us in 2017 to commit $450 million to help. And 3 years later, that was a 3-year pledge. 3 years later in 2020, they renewed it again. So foundation. Then going from the big picture of Rotary International, we focus in then on our district, 7770, and our club, the Forest Acres Rotary Club, who we are, what we do, where we're located. We talk about some of our projects that we are involved in locally to improve lives. This begins to show the prospect what a vibrant club you have and all the things that you do and the things that they could get involved in as a club member. We introduced a couple of new projects this year. We had a coat drive last October where we wound up collecting 300 coats and distributing those to community service organizations in our area. We talk about youth service and how important that is, because when you have strong youth development programs, then that means you are developing future Rotarians and future leaders, people who understand the importance of service and giving back. And so this is an example of what we do with our Interact club at Richland Northeast High School in Columbia. We talk about being a vibrant club, all the things that we do, the fun that we have, great club meetings, great speakers, great activities. In other words, you want this prospect to get excited about being a member of your club. And this is the way to do that. Because see, in a club meeting, they don't see this. They don't get to see this. So in picture format, you can show that to them in a Discover Rotary program. Oh my goodness, we have fun. While we work hard on our projects, we roll up our sleeves, we also know how to have fun. From being the Blues brothers and sisters with past District Governor Bernie Rydell to hula hoop contests. Yes, we actually had a hula hoop contest to getting club members to participate in a chorus line. We talk about the reasons why people join Rotary, from friendship and fellowship to giving back to professional networking, growth, and leadership. We talk about the process for joining Rotary in the Forest Acres Club. We're very upfront and transparent about the cost. And we are adding not only the cost, but the time expectation, because of the 3 primary reasons that people leave clubs. And we know that 50%, this statistic kills me, 50% of all new club members leave a club within the first 1 to 3 years. And one of the reasons is cost and time. If you cover cost and time expectations in Discover Rotary, you can take that reason off of the table altogether. So make sure you cover this clearly. Then we bring it to a close with a great quote from Paul Harris. If you have the love of your fellow men in your heart, my friend, you are a potential Rotarian. And that's it. And that we thank the prospective members for being with us. We call for any questions or comments. And then we move from the Discover Rotary program right into a club meeting, lunch and a club meeting, and an opportunity to meet some great Rotarians. Well, Charles,
Thank you, Sandy. Wow, this is extremely successful in how you're doing this. And what I hope that we'll get our folks on our call today is the fact to realize this is only a part of this intentional strategy of membership development and growth. But this is, as you laid out there, there's the strategy, the team effort, the planning, the getting the culture growth. And then this is part of that, as you said, I think icing on the cake of having a Discover Rotary event. Now let's open this up and let's see if there are any questions that you have for Sandy. If you will, just unmute yourself and raise your hand or whatever, and we'll try to look at you. Any questions
Sandy,
that we have for Sandy this morning? Go ahead.
Sandy, did you say this is available where we can steal this and adapt it to our own club?
yes.
Yes, it is. Let me share this with you. We will be sending you the links for this PowerPoint that's on the Zone website, as well as the script and the other information after this meeting. So we'll be getting all this out to you with a link for the PowerPoint that you can actually make your own and put your own information in it. But Sandy's done a tremendous job of getting that available. Sandy, you want to comment on that?
That's easily accessible by going to the Zone 33 website. And
what we'll do, we'll send you a link. That way you don't have to chase it all around. And we will be getting this out to all of you that are on the call and that receive this invite to come to this meeting. So yes, Joanne, we'll be getting all that information, not only the PowerPoint, but the script itself. Dick, you had a question. I think your hand was up.
Yes, thank
Sandy,
you.
if you'll stop sharing, please.
Two things. One is last night's final Jeopardy question was the answer was polio. So I thought that was very interesting. But the other thing was, do you do, I've been in 3 different Rotary clubs over the last 23 years. Do you do a Rotary minute like in your regular meetings? That's my question.
we do. We hit something that I would like to encourage everyone as we get ready for 2022-23. And speaking of Rotary movement, we've got to keep membership growth top of mind, on the radar, and almost every club meeting say something about growing membership. That is such an important priority. And something that's coming up that I would like to see clubs start planning for right now is the month of August is membership and new club development month. What is your plan for what you're going to do every week in your club meeting for membership month? It's a great, and it's at the beginning of the year. It's a great way to kick off the emphasis for membership growth. So I really encourage you, speakers, you can bring speakers in from everywhere now because of our Zoom capabilities. So speakers, membership moments. I had last year during membership month, I had 3 groups talk about what is your why. What is your why? Why you joined Rotary and why you've stayed all these years. And so one week I had all of the board members of the club talk about what is your why. And then the next week I had older club members get up and talk about what is your why. And then the following week I had relatively new club members stand up and talk about what is your why. It really had impact. And what that does, when you talk about what is your why, it gives you what you need to reach out and say to a prospective member to interest them in Rotary. It gives you an opportunity to tell your own personal story. That's a great thing to do during membership month. And I have to tell you that some of those people got pretty emotional when they talked about what is your why. And so I didn't intend to have a bunch of people crying. That was not the goal at all. But it was very impactful.
telling your Rotary story makes a big difference. By the way, everyone on the call, mark on your calendar now, August the 25th, Thursday, August the 25th will be our membership summit. And we will be getting more detailed information out very shortly on that and getting a registration up for that event. So just want to remind you now, put August the 25th for your our membership summit that will be coming up at the Sedgefield Country Club. And John and a group of us are working on that right now. We'll have further details following up. Any other questions we have for Sandy? I want to say, first of all, Sandy, thank you so much for your passion for Rotary and your willingness to help other districts and clubs make a difference and get a different approach to where they're going with membership. It is so encouraging, and we appreciate what you're doing throughout not only your own district, but through the zone that you've reached out. By the way, for those of you who may not know, this is number 72 or 3 that she's done a presentation on Discover Rotary. So she is definitely a very active individual about membership and what she's trying to get us to all think about. So we thank you very much, Sandy. Any other questions though, please?
Hey, Charles.
Charles, go ahead.
Yeah, I got 2 questions. First one is to Sandy. Awesome presentation. Do all your clubs in your district do what you just shared with us?
Don't I wish I could say yes. I have literally been in about half of the clubs in our district. Sometimes I get a club who will call me and say, Sandy, we don't have time to do all this training. We don't have time to have you in our club. Just send me your slides. And you know what? I don't like to do that, but I've done it. I've done it because I'd rather, and those are the clubs that are not nearly as successful. But then they come back and say, Sandy, we tried Discover Rotary and it didn't work. Well, that's the reason why. So to answer your question, I'm about halfway there, and intentional growth strategies is going to be a top priority in our district in 2022-23.
Thank you. And Charles, the follow-up question is to you.
Yes, sir.
As our membership leader for our district. What clubs in our district are doing what Sandy just shared with us? I assume that I would think that Conda's club is doing that from what I've heard about her membership, but are there other clubs that are doing Sandy does? About
25% are even engaged in intentional membership strategies only. And we are working hard this next year to make that a much larger number. Chris might be able to tell you better than I can of those that are doing it, but as far as I know right now, those that are actually doing this, Brent, are very small in number. And I think, Tammy, did you have your hand up? Okay, I'm sorry. I thought I saw your hand raised. Pardon me.
Charles.
Okay. Yes.
Charles.
Kathy.
Kathy Harpster in Southern Pines. Brent, we do discovery hours. In fact, we have one this Friday. And Sandy, we have a PowerPoint very much like the one that you just showed us, but I'm going to steal a couple little things out of yours and put into ours.
Good. That's a whole idea.
And the reason we're having it this Friday is because we just did a networking event with the Chamber of Moore County, and we gave out our newsletters and business cards and then invited them to this discovery hour. So I've been doing follow-up for the past 2 weeks to get people to come to discovery hour.
Super. Sounds like you got a good plan.
Awesome. One of the things that jumped out to me this presentation, because we've had 4 discovery hour, Rotary Discovery, during the last 12 months as the president here. And as I thought about that, what we shared about this thing is that we've gone about it. We put all the emphasis on the Discovery Rotary, and nothing really didn't put a lot of emphasis on the steps leading up that you shared. And it's like, yeah, I'm sitting there, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, we've had, some marginal success with our Discovery Rotary, but I like the way you did that stuff. And so kind of I'm like, damn, I've been thinking this is the right way to do it. Focus on Discovery Rotary. And there's some stuff leading up with that's got to be the last step. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Well, that's why, Brent, we brought it this way, because Sandy has a whole process of how we do this. And Discover Rotary is not the end all. It's not the magic bullet. It's not the silver bullet. It is part of the process, and you have to get these in order. And I love the order that Sandy's developed there that gives us the idea of how we can get there. But Discover Rotary is the icing on the cake, as she said, and it is what we need to do. So and some of you are already practicing this, maybe not in this exact order, but I've watched you over this last year, and I'm just amazed. So, and I'm just very grateful. So any other questions for Sandy at this point? Again, we're very respectful of your time. We're 5 minutes over, and I apologize for that. But Sandy has done a masterful job, as she always does. She knocked us out of the park here this past weekend at the Zone Institute there in Glen Allen, Virginia, right outside of Richmond. And we had a great event. That it was one of those kind of, you got fed with a fire hose again, but it was an awesome event. So we were very grateful for that opportunity to be a part of it. But thank you all again. I will be sending out a link. It may not get out today, but it'll get out by tomorrow for sure, that has all of these links to the PowerPoint, the script, and all that, so that you'll have that available for you. Chris, Governor Chris, have you got any comments you'd like to share right quick before we close this out?
No, just thank you very much, Sandy, for being here. And we do have a handful of clubs that do Discover Rotary with great success. So thanks for enforcing that, and thanks for your time.
Welcome.
Thank you all. We certainly appreciate your dedication to Rotary and your work, and look forward to working with you next year and John's team. Thank you, and have a great day and a great week. Take care, all.
Great presentation.